The Ocampan warships appeared in Earth's skies thinking conquest would come easy, but they were about to taste the bitter shock of underestimating human tenacity and ingenuity. Emperor Yaris, unchallenged ruler of the vast Ocampan Galactic Empire, sensed opportunity upon detecting primitive radio signals coming from an unassuming yellow star on the Milky Way's fringes. He assembled 500 warships armed with planet-razing weapons, tested in countless invasions before, and set course to subjugate the unsuspecting planet called Earth. His commanders boasted of the riches and slaves they would soon claim. But on Earth, while SETI astrophysicist Dr. Roger Jenkins worked late analyzing unusual signals from the outer solar system, he realized the horrible truth: hostile aliens were fast approaching. Roger raised the alarm to the world's skeptical leaders and began urgently devising Earth's defense strategy himself. Earth's population watched in terror as their leaders confirmed the nightmare scenario. A powerful alien empire was poised to invade. The Ocampan ships arrived, dwarfing cities as they hovered menacingly above. Emperor Yaris demanded Earth's total surrender or face obliteration, punctuating his threat by atomizing an uninhabited island from orbit as a mere sample of his fleet's might. With the ultimatum clock ticking, Roger and Earth's brightest minds raced to invent a way to counter the aliens' vast technological advantage. Analyzing the invaders' signal patterns, Roger found a potential vulnerability in their ship's shield systems. As militaries mobilized and civilians prayed, Roger's team rushed to turn his last-ditch insight into a functional defense, the only hope to prevent the fall of the human race. As the Ocampan ultimatum expired, Roger anxiously waited in the cockpit of his modified F-35 fighter jet. The prototype weapon, hastily retrofitted to a handful of Earth's most advanced aircraft and missiles, was humanity's last desperate hope. Roger's hands gripped the controls tightly as he watched the skies, praying their gambit would work. Suddenly, the Ocampan warships high above began raining devastation upon the planet. Searing beams of energy lanced down from orbit, obliterating entire city blocks in blinding flashes. Skyscrapers crumbled and fires raged as the relentless bombardment continued. Millions perished in mere minutes as the aliens unleashed their wrath. Roger's radio crackled with frantic reports of the destruction. Tears stung his eyes as he pictured the carnage below. Then Emperor Yaris's mocking voice boomed over the airwaves, gloating about humanity's foolish defiance. "Surrender now," Yaris sneered, "and I may spare a remnant of your species as slaves. Continue this futile resistance, and I will scour your wretched planet of all life." Roger's eyes sharp as anger surged through him. He checked his weapon systems one final time, then radioed his squadron. "All right, team, this is it. We're the only thing standing between Earth and total annihilation. Stay focused, watch each other's backs, and let's show these alien bastards what humans are made of." Roger and his wingmen hit their afterburners and rocketed towards the Ocampan fleet. The aliens, caught off guard by the sudden appearance of human fighters, swung their weapons around to target the incoming jets. But before they could fire, Roger and his team launched a volley of the new shield-piercing missiles. The projectiles streaked towards the alien vessels and detonated in blinding flashes. Roger held his breath, praying the untested weapons would work. As the glare faded, he let out a victorious whoop. The missiles had punched clean through the Ocampan shields, ripping gaping holes in the hulls of several warships. Explosions blossomed along the alien crafts as they listed out of formation, trailing smoke and debris. Roger and his squadron pressed their attack, strafing the damaged ships with their retrofitted cannons. The high-velocity rounds shredded through the weakened alien armor, setting off secondary explosions within the stricken vessels. "Sir, I've got a lock on the flagship," Roger's wingman reported over the radio. Roger followed his targeting reticule and saw the massive dreadnought from which Yaris had broadcast his ultimatum. "Take the shot," Roger ordered. He watched as the missile streaked away from his wingman's jet and bore down on the flagship's bridge. The warhead detonated in a massive fireball that consumed the Ocampan command ship. Roger knew Yaris had been on that vessel. The hated alien emperor was dead. Stunned by the shocking destruction of their flagship and the crumbling of their shields, the Ocampan commanders panicked. Roger listened to their frantic communications as they ordered a retreat to regroup beyond Earth's moon. As the battered alien fleet limped away, Roger knew they had to seize this fleeting opportunity. He hailed Earth's global military command. "The new weapons work," he shouted into his radio. "We've caught them with their pants down, but they'll regroup fast. We need to hit them with everything we've got while they're vulnerable." Across the planet, Earth's militaries scrambled to mount a coordinated counterattack. Scores of fighters, bombers, and missiles were quickly armed with the new shield-piercing technology and launched in pursuit of the retreating Ocampans. The human forces fell upon the regrouping alien fleet like a swarm of vengeful wasps. The Ocampan ships, their shields still flickering and hulls unrepaired, were ravaged by the onslaught. Ship after ship broke apart and tumbled into the atmosphere, streaking like meteors as they burned up. Only a handful of alien vessels managed to escape beyond the range of human weapons, fleeing towards the outer reaches of the solar system. Roger landed his fighter, exhausted but triumphant. He was greeted by cheering crowds as he emerged from the cockpit. News of the improbable victory was spreading across the planet, sparking raucous celebrations in the streets of every nation. Despite the challenges, humanity had drawn first blood against the alien invaders. David had downed Goliath. But as Roger watched the wreckage of Ocampan ships still burning in the skies, he knew the fight was just getting started. In a grim address to the world leaders, Roger laid out the challenges still ahead. "We've won a battle, but not the war," Roger said solemnly. "The Ocampans are bloodied but not beaten. They'll analyze this defeat, regroup, and return with a vengeance. We must press our temporary advantage and arm our forces across the globe with these new weapons. Every jet, tank, ship, and missile must be retrofitted immediately before the Ocampans return. And we must hunt down any alien survivors who crashed on Earth before they can regroup. Even a small force could wreak havoc if they get their hands on our technology or take human hostages." The world leaders, still shocked by the day's events, unanimously agreed with Roger's plan. They placed their full trust in his leadership and granted him the power to mount Earth's defense. As Roger left the meeting, he was already consumed with the details of the monumental task before him. The gears of industry would need to churn non-stop to produce enough of the new armaments. Every branch of every military would need to be trained on the new weapons. Salvage teams and search parties would need to track down every crashed Ocampan ship or escape pod. But most critically, Roger knew they were working against the clock. With every moment that passed, the Ocampans drew closer to returning with reinforced numbers, repaired shields, and a murderous thirst for revenge. This had only been the opening salvo in a war that would consume the planet. As he pored over tactical maps and battlefield reports into the night, Roger steeled himself for the greatest crucible Earth had ever faced. The road ahead would be paved with blood and sacrifice, leading to a battle for nothing less than humanity's very right to exist. The Ocampans would return, more terrible than ever, and Roger would need to be ready to meet them head-on. Earth had earned its first taste of hope today. Now Roger would need to lead them in the fight for final victory, no matter how long it took or how much it cost. Their survival, and the memory of all those already lost, demanded nothing less. Roger closed his eyes and prayed for the strength to see this through to the bitter end. Roger wasted no time putting his plans into action. Within days of the Battle of Earth, factories around the globe churned out shield-piercing weapons non-stop. Military bases bustled with activity as technicians worked feverishly to retrofit jets, tanks, and ships with the new tech. "We need to move faster," Roger urged the assembled world leaders during a video conference. "Every second counts." Meanwhile, Roger led scouting missions to hunt down any Ocampan stragglers. Deep in the Amazon, his team hacked through dense jungle until they stumbled upon the twisted wreckage of an alien warship. "Holy shit," whispered Roger's second-in-command as they entered the craft. Inside, They found partially intact computer systems. Roger's fingers flew across alien keyboards, decrypting files. "This can't be right," he muttered, eyes widening as he scanned the data. "They've been watching us for years, and Earth was just the beginning." Back at headquarters, Roger laid out the grim intel to stunned military brass. "We're looking at full-scale galactic invasion," he explained. "Ocampan reinforcements will arrive within months. We need to act now." Roger proposed a daring infiltration mission using the salvaged Ocampan ship. After heated debate, world leaders reluctantly agreed. For weeks, Roger's hand-picked team studied alien tech day and night. They learned to operate cloaking devices and navigate using Ocampan's star charts. Finally, disguised in salvaged Ocampan uniforms, they launched into space. Roger's heart raced as they approached Mars, praying their cover would hold. "Unidentified vessel, state your business," crackled an Ocampan voice over the comm. "Patrol ship returning from recon," Roger replied in the alien language. Tense seconds passed before they were waved through. The team exhaled in collective relief. They found the Ocampan fleet regrouping amid the asteroid belt. As they eavesdropped on communications, it became clear the aliens were in disarray. "We should strike Earth immediately," one commander insisted. "Fool, we must wait for reinforcements," argued another. Roger's team intercepted encrypted messages confirming Emperor Yaris's death. They learned of the ambitious Admiral Hathrak, who sought to rain vengeance upon Earth. As they snuck away undetected, Roger knew humanity's reprieve was temporary. The next Ocampan assault would be even more devastating. He began formulating a two-pronged strategy: sow chaos within Ocampan ranks while bolstering Earth's defenses. It was a long shot, but their only hope of survival. Roger paced the dimly lit war room, his footsteps echoing off the concrete walls. Holographic displays flickered with real-time data from Earth's defense grid and deep space telemetry. He paused, studying the projected paths of incoming Ocampan reinforcements. "We need to hit them before they reach Sol," Roger said, addressing the assembled team of military commanders and intelligence officers. "Our window of opportunity is closing fast." He laid out his two-pronged strategy, detailing plans for covert sabotage missions and an elaborate disinformation campaign. The room buzzed with murmurs of approval and concern. "It's risky," General Hawkins warned, "but it might be our only shot." Roger nodded grimly. "Assemble our best operators and pilots. We leave in 48 hours. The next 2 days were a whirlwind of preparation. Roger personally oversaw the outfitting of the captured Ocampan vessel, ensuring every system was operational and undetectable. As the strike team boarded, Roger pulled aside Lieutenant Commander Chen, his second-in-command. "Remember, we're ghosts out there. Hit fast, hit hard, and vanish before they know what happened." Chen gave a curt nod. "We won't let you down, sir." The Ocampan ship slipped silently out of Earth's atmosphere, cloaking engaged. Roger felt a familiar tension in his gut as they accelerated towards their first target, a massive shipyard orbiting a distant gas giant. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Roger's hand-picked intelligence team worked tirelessly to plant seeds of misinformation within the Ocampan ranks. They crafted elaborate false reports of a devastating human superweapon, weaving just enough truth with fiction to make it believable. Lochnar, the disgruntled Ocampan officer they'd turned, proved an invaluable asset. His carefully leaked intelligence reports found their way to Admiral Hathrak's inner circle, stoking the alien commander's paranoia. Days turned to weeks as Roger's strike team wreaked havoc across Ocampan's supply lines. They sabotaged antimatter reactors, corrupted navigation systems, and destroyed critical infrastructure. Each successful mission delayed the alien reinforcements, buying Earth precious time. Roger stood on the bridge of the stolen Ocampan ship, watching through the view screen as another alien shipyard erupted in silent explosions. "Good work, team. Let's get out of here before—" Alarms blared as enemy vessels suddenly warped into the system. "Evasive maneuvers!" Roger shouted. "Get us clear!" The human crew, now well-versed in alien tech, executed a flawless escape. As they slipped back into cloak, Roger allowed himself a small smile. They'd been pushed close to discovery, but the mission was a resounding success. Back in Seoul, tensions reached a fever pitch as Hathrak's fleet approached. Earth's orbital defenses bristled with new weaponry, and every military installation stood on high alert. Roger studied the incoming telemetry with growing concern. The sheer number of Ocampan drone fighters was staggering. He immediately relayed the intel to Earth's defensive coordinators, urging them to adapt their strategies. As the Ocampan armada emerged from the Kuiper Belt, they found themselves facing an opponent far more prepared than expected. Waves of shield-piercing missiles streaked out to meet them, detonating in brilliant flashes that illuminated the void of space. Tens of thousands of robotic Ocampan fighters winked out of existence, reduced to clouds of debris. The alien fleet's vanguard stumbled, thrown into disarray by the unexpected ferocity of Earth's defense. Amidst the chaos, Lochnar made his move. He seized control of his destroyer's weapon systems, unleashing a devastating barrage against Hathrak's flagship. The massive vessel listed, venting atmosphere and debris. Human forces pressed their advantage, hammering the disorganized Ocampan fleet. Ship after ship succumbed to Earth's newly acquired shield-piercing technology. Roger watched from the command center, his face illuminated by the tactical displays. "We've got them on the ropes," he said, allowing a hint of hope to creep into his voice. "Don't let up now." As the last Ocampan vessels fled or surrendered, a ragged cheer went up from the exhausted command staff. Earth had survived its greatest trial yet, but Roger knew the war was nowhere near the end. He turned his attention to the star charts, already planning their next move against the wounded but still dangerous Ocampan Empire. Roger stood on the bridge of the flagship, his eyes fixed on the holographic display of the Ocampan homeworld. The planet's surface glowed with the fires of destruction, a testament to the relentless human assault. He felt the weight of countless lives on his shoulders as he issued the next set of orders. "Target their primary power grid," he commanded, his voice steady despite the chaos around him. "We need to cripple their ability to regroup." The tactical officer nodded, fingers dancing across the control panel. Moments later, brilliant beams of energy lanced down from orbit, striking key infrastructure points across the Ocampan capital. Explosions bloomed across the cityscape, plunging vast swathes into darkness. As the bombardment continued, Roger received an urgent communication from one of his stealth teams. "Sir, we've successfully infiltrated their central command bunker," the team leader reported. "We're uploading their classified defense protocols now." Roger's eyes narrowed as he processed the influx of data. "Excellent work. This will give us the edge we need to finish this." Hours turned into days as the human forces methodically dismantled the Ocampan's remaining defenses. Roger coordinated a multi-pronged assault targeting military installations, shipyards, and communication hubs. The once mighty Ocampan fleet, caught off guard and divided, crumbled under the onslaught. In the war room of the Ocampan High Command, panic reigned. Admiral Vexthor, one of the few surviving warlords, pounded his fist on the table. "How did they breach our defenses so easily? We are supposed to be invincible." Before anyone could respond, the room shook violently as another wave of human weapons found their mark. Dust and debris rained down from the ceiling. "My lord," a junior officer stammered, "we've lost contact with the outer colonies. Our subspace network it's gone." Vexthor's eyes widened in disbelief. Without their faster-than-light communications, coordinating any kind of counterattack would be impossible. The realization of their impending defeat crashed over him like a tidal wave. Back on the human flagship, Roger received confirmation of their successful takeover of the Ocampan communications grid. He allowed himself a small nod of satisfaction before turning to address his command staff. "We've got them cornered," he said, his voice filled with cold willpower. "Now we finish this. All ships commence final attack pattern, no quarter given." The human armada surged forward, their weapons blazing. Ocampan ships, cut off from central command and overwhelmed by superior firepower, fell one by one. Those that attempted to flee were hunted down relentlessly, picked off by Roger's carefully positioned strike teams. As the battle reached its crescendo, Roger received an unexpected transmission. It was from the Ocampan High Command, begging for mercy and offering unconditional surrender. Roger's lips pursed as he considered their plea. "Sir?" his communications officer asked, awaiting orders. Roger shook his head. "No negotiations. We can't risk them regrouping. Continue the assault." The officer hesitated for a moment before nodding and relaying the orders. The bombardment intensified, reducing Ocampan's cities to rubble and wiping out centuries of their civilization in a matter of hours. As the dust settled and the fires of war began to dim, Roger surveyed the aftermath of their victory. The Ocampan threat had been neutralized, but at a staggering cost. Billions of lives, both Ocampan and human, had been lost in this interstellar conflict. Roger turned to his second-in-command, his face etched with the burden of command. "Begin planetfall operations. I want every surviving Ocampan accounted for and contained. We can't allow even a hint of resistance to take root." As human forces descended upon the conquered Ocampan worlds, Roger knew that the real challenge was just beginning. Occupying and governing an alien civilization would require an iron will and unwavering.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.